Today I am going to learn about falconry in the Viking Age, but also face one of my biggest fears, birds. The flutter of wings, their sharp beaks and their piercing eyes fills me with deep anxiety. Birds have always fascinated me, but an underlying fear holds me back from fully embracing their beauty. I have decided to try and conquer my fear, and I have chosen a different path towards it. I decided to meet and train with falconers. Falconry is an ancient tradition. It requires deep knowledge and a profound connection with these majestic creatures. Torben and Lone master this skill to perfection. They have agreed to let me join in on a training session and help me face my anxiety. My own personal goal for today is to be able to maybe hold a bird, and just thinking about it sends shivers down my spine.
Falconry is about a 4,000-year-old sport, and one of the first times we see it up here in the Nordic countries or Northern Europe is in our age. One of the oldest stories that we have up here, that's actually a runestone that's telling a story that a king is meeting another king in Uppsala in Sweden, and every man is actually carrying a bird, but that's just a sign of they're starting using birds and training birds, working with birds. It's first in the Viking Age. We see it up here. We hear the stories. One of the most famous kings, Harald Blue, he's actually writing that Norway is his Hawk Island. When we're coming up in the medieval times, we know they were catching falcons on Greenland and Iceland and using them as a gift. So it definitely got some story way back in the time. And we see some birds that's put in graves, given as a kind of gift. So it's definitely seen as kind of status symbol, that it was for the rich man, not the normal man, to do this. And that's what we see later on in the time as well. In the medieval times, the Renaissance and stuff. It's for the rich man. A rich man's sport. Sport of the kings. Sport of the nobles.
We check the feathers, we check everything on them to make sure that they're happy, and to strengthen the bond. Really. The more time you spend with them, the more calm the birds are around you.
The falcon, Takip, is 7 years old, a sacred falcon, and actually the second biggest falcon in the world. Only the Ger falcon is bigger, and he's a male, 800 grams. A really good size falcon, really good muscles, good size, but still have one hell of a speed. So he's in a really good shape or size, if you can say. If we're talking about what the Vikings were using, we presume it was Ger falcons, maybe peregrines they were using for hunting. He's magnificent for that.
The falcon took off with tremendous speed and remained out of sight for several minutes. And the goal of this training is to get the falcon hunting the treat at the end of the rope. The hawk will keep diving for the treat for several rounds to hone its precision, and at the end it will be allowed to catch and eat the treat. But today the falcon decided to catch us all off guard. He swept right in and caught the prey right away in the first go. We were not prepared for this, but once fed and happy with its kill, he's not going to fly more today.
We never know what's going to happen when you fly the birds, because we don't control them. It's the birds that runs the show, really. If they don't want to fly, we just have to accept it.
The hawk we were flying with, Catus, is actually quite clever. The Harris hawk is actually one of the more used birds for falconry in modern time around in the world. They're really good at working together as this hunting unit. The Harris hawk is the only bird in the world that's joining up for bigger family groups, where they're helping each other out to protect the family, feed the youngsters, and going hunting as a group, just like a wolf pack. And exactly because of that social gene, they're one of the more used birds for modern falconry, because you can fly more of them in a hunt at the same time, and that just gives a bigger chance to get some game on the back. He's actually one of the more slow ones. He's a glider, and he's a sneaky one. The Harris hawks is really sneaky, flying quite close to the ground, sometimes even just half meters high over the ground, and just sneaking up on the prey, going mostly for prey on the ground, rabbits, hares, and he's a cool bird, really aggressive bird, excellent for hunting, and we presume that is the most used hawk that we're using. Maybe a sparrowhawk as well, but some of the good ones, the aggressive ones, the fast ones.
It's fascinating to see these beautiful birds, and I find myself slowly getting closer and closer as I watch them gracefully land and take off from the leather glove. Still, I feel shivers down my spine when the birds are coming in close and spread out their wings just before they land.
The best thing is the feeling you're getting when you have used hours and hours and hours on training a bird, releasing the bird, and see what you have learned them, and see what you've been training is actually gonna work out, and you have this connection, and what you've been working for so hard for so long is actually gonna just work. That's the best feeling. We definitely have more love for the birds than they have for us. This is a working relationship. For them, we are just a part of the life, to getting food, protection and stuff. If we don't pay the salary immediately, every day we're working with them in this positive reinforcement training, or flying or working, if you can say, then they're taking off. Then they have no more love for us than that, actually. You have to keep your distance. You quickly see them as a kind of pet, and that's not what it is. You have to strike yourself over the fingers, if you can say, from time to time. Yeah. The owl we're flying here today is named Benji. He's 12 years old, an African spotted eagle owl. He's actually an old gentleman, if you can say. In captivity, birds getting twice as long in the age. So in the wildlife, an owl like Benji, max 10 years old. And it's just hard to be a wild bird, living in the wildlife, not eating every day and stuff.
Suddenly the atmosphere changes. A local wild bird of prey is on its wings, far above us. Benji the owl spots it long before us and instinctively changes his behaviour. He becomes very cautious and observant, and so does Torben and Lone. It's a swift reminder that even though these birds live in companionship with humans, they are still indeed very wild and in touch with their natural instincts. I know the time is drawing near to test my bravery, and I can feel my heart racing. But the second his claws gently grips my leather glove, and he turns his head as if to acknowledge me as a new companion, time seems to stand still, and I feel strangely at ease. Instead of terror and panic, I feel relief and at peace. All tension is gone from my mind, and I'm feeling so much alive and present in this very moment. The fear gives in and allows me to fully celebrate this huge step that I have just taken. Not only taken, but thoroughly enjoyed. I lack words to describe how amazingly good this feels.
I will say it's been a joy to see that you didn't go scared. You told yourself for so long that you were so afraid. I think we can say we're proud that you did it in that way. It was super cool.
As I walk back, I keep thinking about my experience with the owl. I'm not entirely sure if I have cured my phobia, but I do know that in a matter of a few very intense moments, I was able to change at least something deep in my mind. And this I will carry with me, and hopefully it will inspire me to keep fighting my inner demons.